Laurel, I got this idea for a video, but I'm not sure how to open it. You're right. I should call Dallas.
Look, Mick, I'm sorry. Look, I appreciate that you're trying to give people some extra opportunities to do some stuff, but they messed up the whole Cat movie. They messed up the whole deal with Spider-Man. Now you want to jack with Lady and the Tramp? No. Stop. No. Bad Mickey. Bad. No. Look, I have a phone call coming in. I will talk with you about this again later. Hello?
Hey, man. I got this idea for Captain's Comic Log in September, but I'm not quite sure how to open it. I have this idea, but I think that if I run with this idea, it'll cause some backlash for some of your followers.
Oh, what is it you want to do?
Today on Captain's Comic Log, we're talking about the devil!
Yeah, man, no. I don't think that's going to work. Look, just try saying, this week on Captain's Comic Log, we're talking about the Blue Devil, or the unfortunate events of a stuntman turned superhero. Just leave the whole cults and Satan thing out.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Alright, I'll figure it out. Welcome to Geek Devotions, a channel from devoted geeks who are devoted to letting you know that you are loved. My name is Captain Nostalgia, and I am the host of the Victims and Villains podcast, the podcast that dares to marry pop culture with suicide prevention. If you guys would like to check out more on my content and my show, you guys can click the links in the descriptions below. And this month for Captain's Comic Log, we are talking all about Blue Devil, a 1984 series that is the only in existence of the character to actually feature him as a title role. And we're specifically for this video and for this review, we are going to be looking at issues 1 through 6. Now, Blue Devil, if you guys caught the Swamp Thing DC Universe show, you guys know that he was a minor character, and he happened to actually be my favorite part of the Swamp Thing DC Universe series. If you guys want to hear us talk more about Swamp Thing with Mr. LJ Lowry from the Victims and Villains podcast, we'll have a link in the descriptions below for that. And if you guys would like to read a more in-depth version of this video, you guys can also check out the written version of this review as well in the link below. Blue Devil tells the story of a man named Daniel Cassidy, who is a stuntman extraordinaire, and he is working on a blockbuster known as Blue Devil. It is going to be the next big summer movie that everyone's going to be talking about, and while they're shooting this movie, one of the crew members on the film in between takes accidentally wakes up an ancient monster named Nebros, and Daniel is called to stop the monster, and in stopping to do so, he actually grafts the Blue Devil stunt suit to his skin, and it becomes his new due. And so they spent the majority of this first arc really trying to chase down Nebros and really try to undo what has happened to Daniel Cassidy, and because he doesn't want to be a superhero. And one thing that I really liked about this character is that this is for fans of Spider-Man. If you guys are big into Spider-Man, or even earlier, maybe cleaner Deadpool, this is a comic that I think you guys will really enjoy. This is a comic that just has a lot of really smart quips and just really witty writing, and I have to thank Dan Mishkin and Gary Cohn, who served as the writing duo for these first 6 issues. They did a really dynamite job. I really enjoyed this one, and a lot of the writing and a lot of the mythology that comes with the Blue Devil character, it definitely has, it's like superheroes, but it meets World of Warcraft and like Dungeons and Dragons and just kind of things like that. It has a nice blend of superheroes and fantasies that I think people are going to like really well. There is some weird... So the weird thing about the storytelling in these first 3 issues is you have this introductory issue in issue 1. For issues 2 and 3, however, he is actually thrusted into the hero life unwillingly, and he has to stop Shockwave, who in turn is working out for Metallo, as they're trying to steal this Star Labs invention that basically magnifies the power of Kryptonite so that they can take down Superman and kill him once and for all. And while I didn't mind this, it just kind of felt out of order. It really felt out of place. So when you're getting back into the Nebros portion of the story arc with the introduction of Zatanna in issues 4 and 5, it definitely just kind of strikes as weird storytelling. And the 80s were really notorious for that, so it could be a product of its time. But if you were, instead of just telling these stories out of whack in that way, it would have felt more natural with the storytelling to be told issues in the order of issue 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, and 6, because it would have just created a smoother transition with the narrative. Then also, when you have some of these, when you're talking about magic and you know, monsters and demons, sometimes they create for really dark subject matter, and with that dark subject matter you can have very dark color palette that's being brought to the visual aspect of this book. And the thing that I really enjoyed most was that it feels like a Spider-Man comic, not only in the way that Blue Devil interacts with his enemies and just the public in general, but it's also the color palette that Paris Collins and Pablo Marcos brought to this. It has a very bright pop, and it creates this very nice juxtaposition from the storytelling of the book to the art, creating for a really dynamite, awesome experience as a reader. Overall, Blue Devil issues 1 through 6 is a bit of a mix match mess. It has an awesome art done by Paris Collins and Pablo Moros, and also has really great writing by Dan Mishkin and Gary Kahn. However, some of the writing and some of the narrative choices craft for an uneven storytelling and just kind of create almost a sloppy first introduction to this character that just kind of feels like a rocky start to the series. But once it smooths everything out, it creates for some really some funny laughs and some awesome just battles and stuff like that. This is definitely superheroes meet fantasy, so I do recommend checking this one out, and I'm going to give this month Blue Devil a 3.5 out of 5. But more importantly, if you or someone you know is struggling, you guys can reach out to us on any of our social media, whether it is Geek Devotions or Victims and Villains. We'll have links for both in the description below. You guys can call the Suicide Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. You can text anonymously to 741-741, because suicide is currently the 10th leading cause of death in the United States. There are 129 suicides that take place each and every day, and when you scale back internationally, there are 800,000 successful suicides. That is one death roughly every 40 seconds. So if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out to us on any of those resources, or you guys can also go to victimsandvillains.net/hope. You guys can get even more resources that I just mentioned, past the ones that I've just mentioned. Or you guys can also click the links in the descriptions below as well. But if you guys like Geek Devotions, make sure that you guys stay devoted. Hit that by hitting that subscribe button below and that bell icon, so that way every time this channel goes live or publishes brand new material, you guys are the first to hear about it. In Dallas, there will be carnage.
You can be a little